Thanks for choosing this free Anfield Index podcast. If you'd prefer to listen to this or any of our other shows without adverts, then now's the time to check out Anfield Index Pro. With AI Pro, you can supercharge your entire listening experience. You'll not only get all of our podcasts without the ads, but you'll have them far faster with our quick publish feature available exclusively for subscribers. AI Pro also puts you in the heart of our sound studio, with an option to listen to many of our shows live and interact with the podcasters in real time as the shows are recording. Upgrading couldn't be easier. AI Pro is available on all popular podcast platforms, and we have our own apps for Apple and Android. Just head on over to AnfieldIndexPro.com and get started today.
Hello and welcome to the Under Pressure podcast. I'm back. Don't know me, I'm Gags Tandon, the former host of this show. but today we do have the A team on, so I'm here with Darth and Dan and Sai. How are you doing, Darth?
I'm really good, Gags. I'm really good. How are you? Nice to have you back. Nice to have you back.
Mate, I forgot you call him Rhodesy. What do they call him Dan for? Rhodesy, how you doing, mate?
I'm good. I'm enjoying this little international break before it all kicks off.
Oh man, you know what? I'm not looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it because it's obviously crunch time, but it's the heart rate, man. It's gonna be, clench time, clench.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, but it's best time, innit? Best time,
Yeah.
and
This is what you live for, Gags. This is what you live for.
Yeah. There's never been a better time. I mean, I don't know if you agree, but this is uncharted territory for Liverpool Football Club in this many competitions at this point.
In Premier League era, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not sure if we ever went, to a semi-final in the FA Cup, and whilst we won the
European Cup, the League, and the Milk Cup. I'm not sure if we got through to the final, to the semi of that.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. It's quite hard to do.
We won 3 twice.
Yeah. We've won 3 twice. Oh right, yeah, we won it three twice. Yeah,
in consecutive seasons.
Oh, and then we did the other treble as well, the cup treble once as well. So we've done 3 trebles. Oh well, a treble would be nice. I'll take the treble now. I'll take any treble right now.
Which would you take?
Well, to be honest, I don't think the FA Cup, the Carabao, and the Champions League's ever been done. I don't think.
And you
together?
I don't actually care. I couldn't care less about.
No, I don't think it's ever been done as a treble.
Multiples.
So that would be good. But then obviously, if you do the Premier League with the Champions League and the Carabao, that's still that's just the most.
So if we could only win one of what's left, what would you take?
Premier League.
The league.
I think, yes, I'd take the Premier League because we deserve to be in the stadium when we win it. We need that.
What about you, Si?
I'm easy, but I'd probably go Champions League.
Really?
I was so close to choosing Champions League just because, when you're in that stadium when you win a trophy like that, win a cup. But I suppose last day of the season, if it's on the last day and you win it on the last day, that's going to feel like a Champions League win.
Sure, but just from my perspective, in context of forever, Champions League means more.
Yeah.
For now, probably this season, the Premier League means more. But in the context of my life, an extra Champions League would mean more.
I think just getting back to the perch, 20 would be good this year. That would be a little tick box done, back to where we want to be, and that the 20 times song can go in the bin. So that would be nice, and then we're more likely to reach.
Also, Gags having been 14 points behind.
Oh, it would be unheard of. Especially against City, because let's be honest, the sports washing era, we're the only team that's been able to fight with them. And we have to be so proud of that as well as a club and everything. And to turn them over this year would really piss the whole world off, I think. But it would also mean
it's one down in terms of sports washing. It's 1 down, 3 to go, Cags, isn't it?
No, they're not going to go, mate. I don't think.
Well, I don't know. I mean, just think about the last bit of geopolitics of the show is that when the UAE hosted Assad, that's a pretty much a red line for anybody in this country and anybody connected with the Premier League. So we'll see how things progress.
I think it's harder to win the league, so that's why I prefer it. Also, I think we deserve the celebration because we didn't get it for the last one.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, if there was one, we take the league. To be honest, I think I want a minimum of 2 if I'm greedy, but yeah, it just means you win one of the big 2, right? If it's a minimum of 2.
Yeah.
But so that's the key. But anyway, we're here to talk about one of the players that's allowed us to, or has contributed the most, I would say, to be here where we are right now as a club in terms of this season. He's the top scorer in the Premier League. Has some unreal numbers that we'll go through during his time at this club, Mohamed Salah. And we're going to talk about his contract situation. We're going to go through the stats, if there's anyone like him, all those things, and try to really bring an objective pod. I know Sai's on the pod, but yeah, we will try to bring something objective and really answer the question, is Mo Salah really worth breaking? Your wage structure. So that's where we're going to get to. But what we're going to start with, Sai, is a deep dive into the great man, because he is great, no matter what anyone says or does, what he does even further, what happens post this summer. He's great, and he's going to be a great for us. So let's look at a deep dive into Mo, really. So are you there?
Sure. Where do you want to start?
Oh, that's what he's thinking about. Amazing. Where shall I start? I love it.
Well, what does a deep dive look like in terms of Mo Salah?
I think start with goals, maybe.
This one, I was never quite sure about this pod. What are we talking about? We're talking about in context of history. We're talking about in context of the current.
Anything.
Are we talking about in context of Europe?
I think you go with all of it. I think
we're talking about his contract, so it's anything which is relevant to the discussion of that.
Yeah, which is anything that is a deep dive. So literally all of those things you stated are on the table. So you can discuss whichever ones you want, all of them, a subset, whatever you want.
My feeling is I think we should go with what Darth's got prepared because there is some dissent going on. I'm
not dissenting. I'm just going to be. It'd be boring if everybody agrees. So I'm just preparing to be devil's advocate. That's all.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So set up a reason why we shouldn't sign him because largely the no matter what Twitter would have you believe, the consensus is that we should sign Mo Salah.
Yes, at any cost.
The consensus would be to sign Mo Salah. Most people don't care about Championship manager figures of how much money we should supposedly allocate him over another player or breaking a bullshit wage structure.
I do.
Or any of that nonsense. Most people don't believe that. Just Twitter does, and a bunch of lads who love a bit of Championship manager. So I will objectively lay out the objections to those things to justify why we should sign him. But that, I think, I for once have the majority view.
Well, because I would say is, I think if the most popular opinion that I can gather from all the stuff I've consumed, Gags, is that the contract should be resolved, and we should pay Salah and his agent what they want. That seems to be the prevailing view. I think the second most popular view after that is we should re-sign him, but only on a deal which is right for the club as well. And then all the other scenarios, either he runs down his contract or we sell him this summer. They're 3 and 4. That's what do you think, Gags? You've got your finger on the pulse, LFC fandom.
No, I think everybody wants him to sign. Now, where it starts breaking up is when people start to talk about the money. Should we throw everything at it or not? That's where people then start to worry, because obviously now, and this is a surprise, everybody loves the model. Everybody loves the fucking model. Before, no one give a flying fuck. FSG out. Who cares? Now, we can't sign him because he's going to break the fucking structure. Oh, get out. You know, I understand what you're saying, but there's different ways to think about it. And I want to get to those things later, right? When myself and Rhodey start talking image rights and stuff, we'll get to that bit later. I think for now, let's talk, because that's a really interesting part of the discussion and an interesting part of whether or not Liverpool should go and do that, you know, and whether they're the ones pushing it and not Mo. So I think that's the later.
So this is just this is in context of our history. Right? This is his 5th season, and he's already the 9th highest scorer in our history, with 153 goals. He's only 5 behind Michael Owen now, and he's got the second in pure volume terms. He's got the second greatest goal scoring season in our entire history, which was his first one for the club, with 47 goals. I mean, these achievements, what he has done, make him a Liverpool great. And once you do what Sai's done, where you adjust everything for minutes and appearances, you know, forget appearances and stuff like that, he's the best. He's better than all our other great strikers and great goal scorers in our history. And when you add in that, he is also the second best creative player in the team.
So if we use the history of Liverpool to contextualise things, he is the greatest of all legends. He was the fastest to 50, fastest to 100 goals, fastest to 150 goals. His rate of goals and assists at all those levels are the best. For a lad that's played the number of minutes that he currently has, nobody is close to him in Liverpool metrics. We were talking about the John Barnes and Salah poll. I don't know who I would pick, because Salah's numbers it's stupid to compare with John Barnes because they don't deserve to be compared. But I love John Barnes. John Barnes was fantasy. He was dream. He was the player everybody wanted to be. He's just one of the great footballers of all time, and it's.
I think it is right to compare them though, Si, because before the current team, that Kenny era late 80s team was the best attacking side in our history.
But my point is that team in history doesn't stack up to goal scoring teams of now. That's what I'm saying. No. So contextually, team against team, era against era, you can't compare. What Messi and Ronaldo have done have broken all statistical records and changed the way football is now looked at and analysed.
You're right, because in our entire history, there was only 8 secret. If you take 38 game blocks for all managers in our history, a manager's only got above 90 points on 8 occasions. And I haven't updated it. Last time I checked, about 6 months ago, Klopp was on 52 occasions. He's got more than 90 points in a 38 game sequence. So what this current team done has rewritten our history as well. The only thing it hasn't done is got enough trophies to satisfy the arguments that this team hasn't won enough based on, you know, the teams of the past.
Because they've just been playing against competition that no one's ever heard of before. It would be relative to in 1988, the owner of Littlewood's catalogue could just go and spend 5% of his total funds and go and buy the best player in the world. And now the owner of Littlewood's catalogue couldn't buy 10% of a football club. It's completely changed the financial landscape. But just in continuing the history of this, at his age, Mo Salah has a goal or assist every 92.5 minutes for Liverpool. At his age, Roger Hunt was at 126 minutes per goal or assist. The Ian Rush was at 101 minutes per goal and assist. Robbie Fowler was at 126. Dalglish was at 97. He's the closest. There's nobody comparable.
Suarez?
He just didn't score many goals, did he? But Suarez was 114.
Okay.
He just wasn't around long enough. He had that terrible first season, relative in numbers perspective.
Yeah.
If we instead of taking his goals, if we took woodwork from that first season then he'd be like 55, wouldn't he? He hit the post and the bar about 46 times during that year.
Yeah.
So how do you contextualize how much you're supposed to pay the greatest forward in your history? Is the greatest forward in your history not even worth the highest salary of your club? In the 5 years he's been at Liverpool, 7 players have earned more money than him. Is that right?
No.
Do we not owe him that money? Relative, isn't there some kind of, instead of looking at it as a business, which I actually believe he should be just remunerated what he's worth, isn't there some kind of, okay, fair enough, you've performed this value above your contract. Okay, if we have to delve in and pay you a little bit more than we want to stick in line with whatever bullshit line we have to draw against the rest of the squad are going to understand, because you've been performing so much above your actual pay.
I don't know why you keep saying it's bullshit. It isn't. You cannot suggest that if we double the current highest paid player in terms of wages and then give that to Salah, I know we're going to come on to this, but that's just how agents work. They will just go then to the club. The players won't. They won't have any gripes.
Yeah, and the players and the club just go, it's my arse. But my point is, he already justified his performance is their response. Well, and they just easily say, well, okay, come back to me when your lad has outperformed his contract by this much.
That's not how it works, so is it? Agents don't do that.
People whine. Yeah, but they've got contracts.
Of course. And so Salah, and he signed one until a certain amount of time based on what he thought he was.
Sure, and if they want a contract extension, they can make their argument as well.
So when Salah signed his first renewal, he did, by all accounts, become the highest or the joint highest paid player at the club, along with Virgil, right? Everybody, do we accept that as fact?
Supposedly, Virgil earns more than him.
Yeah. But that'll probably be since Virgil renewed. Since Virgil renewed for the third time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But remember that the initial Salah renewal, what did it exclude? Image rights.
Yeah.
Which is why.
No, but apparently the rumor that went round September, October time was that there's an initial contract agreed, was the big rumor, for a hefty amount that was massive. But then there's a rumor that there's a lot of waiting around on these image right things. So at the end of the day, no one knows the truth, because all this can be bullshit whenever you've fed stuff. At the end of the day, do Liverpool value Mo as to, a little bit more in terms of, a lot more now in terms of wages? I believe they will. Like, as a standard wage, I believe they will give him more money.
There have been reports as well, since the things have broken down a bit, should we say, and it's got a bit public, that there have been reports from the beat journos that the offer we've made him would make him our first ever $300,000 a week player, wasn't it? 320, I think I saw.
It'd be way more than, apparently the rumours are it's way more than that. So at the end of the day, that's what I'm saying. It's a hefty jump, and I don't think Mo's pissed at that. I think it's fine. I don't think Mo would be pissed at that.
But we're talking arbitrary numbers. 300 grand would still make him the 10th best player in the league.
Now, I knew you were going to do this, you say. So this is where we have to say, right, what is we have players all over our squad who are better and who have renewed than players who are paid higher elsewhere in the league, right? I think this is a false argument.
I'm sure I've seen 375 bandied about, guys. So,
for example, Alisson renewed with us, right? Even though he's paid roughly 150 grand a week less than David De Gea.
He had less leverage. He didn't have a free contract.
Yeah, but he's better than him.
But he didn't have a free contract.
Right. So
he's on 50 grand a week.
Who?
Robbo.
As if he is.
Right.
That's what he says.
Right. So my point was going to be, right, is we've got arguably 5 players who are the best in the world in their position. Right, we've got Alisson, Virgil van Dijk, Fabinho, Trent, and Mo. right, with another 2 players extremely close to that, either in Thiago and Robertson, and 5 of those players, with the exception of Mo and Thiago, have renewed, right? So they've all renewed their contracts, and these are the only, with very few exceptions of peers anywhere in the world who can come close to those people. They have all renewed, right? And we are making a very, we have to take it at face value that the club are making a very fair offer, which would make him higher paid than all of those other players. Now, in my opinion, right, say the offer is 375, right? Let's just say, for argument's sake, that is 40% higher than anybody else who's renewed. I don't think Mo Salah is 40% better than anybody else on our books at all. I'm not even sure that he's actually better than anybody else. He might be a few percent better, right? Now, I know at the top of the elite of the elite of the elite of players, it's not a linear scale between talent and wage, because at the very top, where the last few percent of performance, is an exponential curve in terms of wage. But I don't buy the argument that just because Jadon Sancho and David De Gea and Harry Maguire and Jack Grealish are earning more money than Mo Salah, that automatically Mo Salah should be. We've all renewed our best players.
The player will think that. The player will think
yeah,
that.
but why are all of our other players who are the best in the world in their position? Why have they all renewed for less money?
That's up to them, right? Surely that's their choice. So
So
at the end of the day, no attacking player in the Premier League is doing what Mo Salah is doing. No attacking player in Europe is probably, well, maybe Lewandowski, but there's not a player
in Liverpool's history has done it.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I don't get it. He's literally just asking for value. It's not about he's saying, "Oh, overpay me here." He's just saying, "Pay me what I'm worth."
Yeah.
And I think that's fair. Now, the arguments where everything's coming wrong
why
is
doesn't Alisson say that? Why doesn't Trent say that? Why doesn't Fabinho say that? Why doesn't
Trent
Virgil
did say that. Trent got 180 grand a week. That's a big boy wage for a 22-year-old.
Yeah, massive
Of course
jump.
it is, but he's also.
But at the time, that was the highest paid 22-year-old in the world.
I'm not sure, but yeah, probably close. What I'm saying is, why do the other players take underneath their value relative to others? Is what Dan's saying.
If you look at because there are 2 huge factors in this, right? You're talking like they're taking local discounts. They're not at all. It's just that when you transfer as a free transfer, you get paid in a different way, and you get paid a lot more. So take out the 5 lads that get paid more than him that are on free transfer money. Which right back in the world gets paid more than Trent? Which goalkeepers in the world get paid more than Ali? There's one goalkeeper in the world that gets paid more than Ali.
Yeah, De Gea is on stupid money.
There's definitely 2. Donnarumma does at PSG.
Yeah, I think you would be surprised by how much
I think there's a fair
else in the world gets paid. To be fair,
Yeah, I agree with that. I just think the comparisons is different. I just think players will accept what they're going to accept at the end of the day. They're going to look at where they are in their careers, whatever. I mean, Ali probably has another 7 years in him. He's a keeper, so his next one might be
cheap contract, though, did he?
Hey,
he didn't take a cheap contract.
No, it was probably a big raise in his last one.
Yeah, huge.
But my point is, they've all renewed. Right,
they've probably renewed at a good rate.
For
and
sure.
Also,
I reckon they all got pay rises. Yeah,
but they probably kept their bonuses, right? So, as in, if Liverpool win, they get a bonus. They're probably pushing 300k themselves.
How long did they perform as the best player or one of the 2 or 3 best players in the world under their previous contract before they renewed? How much value did Liverpool gain from them at the contract level that they were being paid for?
Well, Van Dijk was second in the Ballon d'Or, and he should have won it in 2019.
And he got his money before Mo did.
Yeah.
Like, if you look at the linear term of his contract, he got a pay rise before Mo's had the discussion. Now he wasn't 2 years out or 18 months out. He's already had 2 pay rises, and he's only been at the club for 3.5 years.
So, but the point is that Salah's been made the offer at the start of the season, which is going to make him the highest paid player in our history and higher than players like Jack Grealish and Jadon Sancho.
But that
excludes,
gets
and
thrown around
at the moment,
highest paid player at the club. Virgil's the highest paid player at the club, and no one went, "Oh,
he's keeping
Virgil's
the image
going to be the highest paid player at the club."
Dan just said, and is keeping the image rights. I think, in all this discussion, that's just the biggest factor. All those other players are marketable for us as well. So they've taken their money, and then we can use them to promote the club. Mo, on the other hand, keeps his, which is absolutely fine, and also makes possibly equivalent to what we are paying him from those image rights, because he's so sellable. He's absolutely the perfect person to advertise your product. There isn't possibly a better human being on the planet to advertise your product than this guy.
And Rhodesy, how smart was he to keep them when he first joined?
Of course, he was unbelievably smart.
Well, how smart was his agent? We don't like to give him credit, but how much smart was he?
I think he had him at Roma too. He knew.
But then the big conflict, Gags, is that we've signed with Nike, and his biggest deal is Adidas. So it's a huge conflict there. It's huge. And we might give him 500 grand and get his image rights, or 600 grand a week and get his image rights, and then make that back. But then it just creates an absolute shitstorm for the rest of the players, because we've already got their image rights. So we need to come up with a figure where he gets to keep those rights, or there's a bit more of a sharing thing going on there. So we get you for, because if you look at the details of image rights contracts, you might just get a player for 7 days a year, or you might get him for 2 weeks, or whatever. You can negotiate that. You can negotiate those finer details, how much the taxman pays, because you pay less tax on your image rights. So there's all these things that might be going on where we could construct a deal to give him a base wage of, say, 350 to 400, and then he keeps a lower percentage of what he's currently got for his image rights. It's a tough negotiation.
So if you go by the Forbes article that came out last year, that Mo was the highest paid Premier League player. This is before Ronaldo joined. Obviously, Ronaldo is now, including his own image rights stuff. So Mo, with his own image rights, was the highest paid player in the Premier League. Okay, so that's his wages
third combined with in Europe.
Yeah, combined with his image rights.
Yeah.
So if you're saying to me that Mo's earning 500k a week, right, which is what it was working out to from what they put, 500k a week, and his Liverpool contract's 200. Therefore, his image rights right now at this moment in time are worth 300,000 a week on their own. Okay? That's Mo Salah's worth. Now, if you're not willing to pay that, Liverpool Football Club, then don't buy the rights, man. Just pay the player what he wants on his wage and let him keep his fucking rights, because he'll be earning nearly $1 million a week with all that together. I mean, if there's a problem that Liverpool want the rights, then, dude, there's a value on those rights. There's a value.
Nike want the rights.
Mate, if Nike want the rights, then they're going to pay for them. You know, at the end of the day. So whoever wants the rights, that's the thing. That's the thing. It needs to be right. Okay, because literally everything's happened here. The only thing could be this that's holding it up, because he's the only player of the club that owns his own rights. You go and watch all those videos that come out, those amazing videos, Ibu and VVD, Costas,
wasn't it?
right? Yeah, and then Costas, Thiago, and Jota. All of it is product placement, but what is it? It's brilliantly done with football players, and that's what the image right bits does. They're allowed to use those and do whatever the fuck they want with the players and sell a product. Which sponsor, which player will every sponsor ask for to be in their video? Tell me, which one?
Of course. I've just said that.
It's I know, exactly. But then, Rhodesy, there's a value, right? That's what I'm trying to say. If he's the most marketable, if he's the most wanted, either let him keep them, because he literally is earning tons more than his Liverpool wage. So anyone saying he's not worth it needs to get in the bin, because it's proven he's worth it. People are paying for it. Liverpool just need to. I honestly think, if, like you said, if it's 7 days out of the year, whatever, that'll be a small amount, surely. I don't know,
What
but
I would do is, if I was Nike, I would pay the base wage of between 350 and 4, and negotiate with Salah separately to get that Adidas deal struck off, and as Nike as a company get Mo on board, because you're not bothered about the Pepsi and the other deals that he's got. You want to use him, and if he's a Nike player, then you can use him to advertise the Liverpool stuff, and he'll get that huge, like the deal that McElroy got for Nike, or the deal that Jordan did, or the deal that other football Ronaldo got. I think Ronaldo's got $1 billion deal with Nike for the rest of his career.
Yeah.
That's what should be happening. So that doesn't need to happen through Liverpool. It could be a separate thing, and maybe that's what might happen.
the biggest
and we split it
surprise.
up that way.
Absolutely agree. But he must have a long contract with Adidas, which is hard to pay out, right?
Yeah, but you just got to pay your money for the best star in the world.
If you noticed, and I've noticed, there's a Salah NFT coming out with Liverpool this week, tomorrow, right?
Oh, sake.
So, how much is he getting out of that?
Oh,
That's going to be interesting, because literally there's an NFT coming out with Mo on it, King Salah and whatever. There's going to be loads, but what I'm saying is they must have paid him and said, look, this is how much they're going for. You can have half the money. I don't know. There must have been, because there's no way he's allowing it to happen without that. So it's very, this topic is very interesting, but I can understand why the club wants to do it. Imagine if they got them and then they made tons more on top. Like literally one deal could probably pay for it.
Yeah. But for example, Gags, right? That is outside of the remit of Michael Edwards as director of football, isn't it? We're going outside of director of football territory into entire club territory, right? Because it's a commercial decision, Liverpool FC, rather than Michael Edwards' football operations decision, right?
Yeah, we're in the commercial zone. We're completely in commercial zone now. So it's got to be. This is why we're all making assumptions here, okay? Total assumptions, but this is why it could be taking ages, because this is now not a football director discussion. This is a football club and kind of future type discussion, and how much.
Well, the football decision was the offer that's been made back in when was it reported by James Pearce? Was it September? The offer was made.
Something like that, yeah. Early in the season. That's it. But then there's all this stuff going on at the same time. Yeah. Could it be that Mo wants Jurgen to stay as well? I don't know, because literally, if I'm staying for 4 years, I want this manager here. The best that I've played in my life is with him. Yeah. Commit Jurgen, right? Commit Jurgen, and then I'll sign. There could be so many factors to this.
Yeah.
But
you thought you thought it was about wanting to sign new players about a few months ago, didn't you, as well?
Yeah,
and then go out and sign Diaz
as well.
Yeah.
But the point is, I said it about Jurgen about 2 months ago, and everyone shit themselves in the transfer chat in Discord before Indy said anything, right? So, point is, there could be so many factors. Players, he's the best. He's the literally cream of the Premier League right now. This boy, the world. But people call the Premier League the best in the world, right? So that's fine. So he's the cream in this league. He deserves to be paid for it. And I honestly think all the image right stuff, let's put that aside. Even on the current wage, if it goes up to something like 350, 375, there should be nobody in Liverpool in the fan space saying that's a bad deal. Not one. Not one.
Especially because we don't know what the figures are for the other players who renewed. Yeah, anyway, so can we? So have we done the business stuff now? Can we get back to the analytics stuff?
Yeah,
and the sports science stuff.
The most important question is, if we're not signing him, who could we sign?
Well, I was going to say, the thing is, if we're going to sign him, how sure are we that we're going to get value from the biggest contract in our history? Say you are Michael Edwards, right? Say, you've made this offer, right? You're offering him 4 years allegedly, which would take him up to age 34. How sure are you that he's going to be performing to a good standard at age 34?
So he's currently in his year 29 season, right? And if we look at peak years of all attackers, the median peak year for the 100 best goal scorers of all time is 25.9. So theoretically, he has passed his statistical peak past the generic statistical peak, but he's actually having a just off his maximum, his peak year this year, and his peak year was at 26. So that shows that he's not had a significant drop from that physical peak so far. If we look at the other best players, best goal scorers of all time, which you would suggest might be, if you just name them, I'll tell you their peak year and their averages.
Sorry, goal scorers
or attackers.
Oh yeah, let's start with Messi and Ronaldo.
Yeah, so Messi's peak year was 25.5, pretty much same as Salah's, and his up to year 34 season was 78% of his peak year, but it was about 2% off his average.
Okay.
Which is still massively elite.
Yeah,
and his
Ronaldo?
Better than everybody else's ever, apart from Salah, Suarez, and Ibrahimovic. Or Ronaldo, obviously.
Yeah, okay. How about one of his peers at the moment? Probably the only person who could rival him for being the best player in the world, Robert Lewandowski.
Lewandowski's actually getting better with age. So he is better now than he was at 29. We have Benzema, also better at 33 than he was at 29. We have Ronaldo, who isn't, but Ronaldo just recently dropped off a cliff. Over the last 5 years, he has goal and assist rates up to year 37 at the same almost the same rate as Mo. So he's about 4 minutes less than Mo at that stage.
So you say Benzema better than at age 29. I say Benzema better than since Ronaldo left.
Sure. There is no doubt of that.
Yeah. Okay.
If somebody's having 8 shots a game and your team create 15 shots a game, and you're not getting your shots off.
Yeah, because you already meant. So there's only Salah's been top 5 in the Premier League for non-penalty goals. Non-penalty XG plus XA every season since he's arrived. Most seasons he's been top 3. Right. In Europe this season, he's only got 4 players who are even in the same ballpark as him, which is Lewandowski, Mbappe, Benzema, and Jota. And of those forwards, Lewandowski and Jota are completely biased towards XG, and only Mbappe and Benzema have a similar balance between XG and XA. Yeah, and creativity. So I think his real value add, personally, for me, is the fact that he's by far our most creative forward, and he's not just the goal scorer. And I think that's the
he's
hard.
Actually becoming more creative as he goes forward. And if you have, I'd suggest if you're replacing Bobby with Jota, there are going to be more opportunities for a lad to get on the end of his chances. Last season he created. Last season he was 8 assists, expected assists short of actual assists. Because
Mane and Firmino were missing everything.
Exactly, and Harry Kane, on the other hand, had 9 more than he created.
But that's why I did say expected, though. So I did use expected number. Yeah.
So your new hero Jota is actually adding value.
Our new hero Jota.
Yeah, no. But I'm just talking from you. You were just saying you named him in the top 4 in the world.
Well, he is. He's
I know. I'm just saying you named him then, and the very fact that he is there increases Mo Salah's value. It doesn't show he's there to replace him. He literally increases the likely outcome that Mo Salah is going to produce these massive numbers. Yeah.
So going back to what you said about Profat, and so statistically he is post-peak, right?
Yeah.
But in this age, he is still at what, 96% of his peak, 97% of his peak?
I think it's 97% of his peak.
Yeah, now. And he may, by age 34, he may go down to 80% of his peak.
I don't think even that is the statistical likelihood. I think it's closer to 90.
Okay. So he's still going to be knocking out 0.8 non-penalty goals and expected assists per game. Pretty much close to that, 0.7, 0.8 at age 34.
It wouldn't surprise me if it just swung slightly more to creativity.
Right.
Than shot. I would expect his shot volume to go down slightly and his passes into the box to go up slightly. Of the top 50 creative attackers in the world, and that since he joined us, so all of the best players in the world, basically Messi, Ronaldo, Lewandowski, Neymar, Kane, Suarez, Son, Raheem, Mahrez, Firmino, Mane, he is third in passes into the box.
Yeah.
Why do you think there might be a switch in the balance there? Is that just a slight reduction in pace or tactical? Or
yeah, exactly. I think as he gets a little bit slower, which is inevitable, and when we're talking slower, he's still
relative
fastest lad in the league this season.
Yeah.
And
the other thing I'd say on his projection, right, is his availability, right? So, we always talk about this because he is a cyborg. He's only missed 8 games to injury in 5 seasons, I think now. So how likely is it that he maintains that level of availability throughout this contract? Should he sign it?
Well, previous injury is the greatest predictor of future injury.
Is there an age at which that ceases to be true?
No, not really. It's just that if you get so, like Suarez at 32 had missed 6 games in his entire career. Yeah. And then at 33, he missed 26. But that was because he got kicked really, really hard. Right. And so you can't, the more he plays, the more likely he is to suffer a traumatic injury that it's not from a soft tissue injury, that's just caused by some external factor. Just by the very nature of the more you do something, the more is likely to happen. More opportunity there is for something to kick you.
Yeah, because the knee thing was a kick as well. The one he had recently kept him at one start was a kick, right?
Exactly. But just for context, if we go back to those 50 best players again, who's played the most minutes?
By age 29?
Or who's in the last 5 years? Of the top 50 attackers in the world.
Are we talking about internationals as well?
Yeah, all minutes. Salah. That's it. Do you know who's second?
Internationals as well?
All games, yeah.
Lewandowski.
No, nearly, but the grossly underrated, despite being the greatest footballer of all time, Lionel Messi.
No way.
Wow.
Messi, Ronaldo, Suarez, Salah have the most absurd availability of any footballers ever.
Wow.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the big difference between Salah and Messi is that one of them sprints a lot, the other one doesn't.
Yeah. But Messi is also, even with the genius of Salah, Messi's still on another level. Messi has a goal or assist every 72 in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
That's his average. That was Mo's great year.
Post peak.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So let's just say, for example, right, that for whatever reason the deal can't be done, right, and this is what we have to look at. So, the cost of the deal to Liverpool becomes prohibitive, and let's leave the naming rights to one side, right? So,
image rights.
Let's leave image rights to one side, right? What we have to look at is you said to me, Si, that Virgil, Ali, and Mo were unicorns, and we could never find their equivalents again. Is it? Yeah. Do you still stand by that?
Yep.
Because I disagree with that. You see, I think
I know because it's the leverage that you have, the love you have of the analytics department.
Yeah. So this is where we got some good tension, you see, because you've got the beef that these players, the intangibles, make these unicorns as well as their stats, and I believe that these players can be replaced, and the new versions of these players can be found.
I don't think there are new, but if you consider the greatest of all time, you can't just replace that because they don't exist. They've never existed before. It's not you just randomly found somebody through.
Yeah, but we're not talking
never
about.
happened before.
Yeah, but we're not talking about Messi here. We're talking about Salah, aren't we?
So so we're talking he's the best of ours ever to happen.
Yeah.
And we've had loads of really good ones.
Yeah. And we've had really elite ones. But what I'm saying is that it's incremental. The improvements he's made on our previous greats is incremental. It's not like he's 50% better than them, is it? It's like it's smaller, because Torres was first to 50 goals in terms of his performance to 50, Sturridge's performance to 50 goals. All of these players are just absolutely sensational.
But neither of them did the other stuff.
No, I know, and Jota's going to be the same with the goals as well, but not the other stuff as well. So.
And also, those 50 games were much closer together when Salah was doing it, because the others were always injured, which is a huge part of the story.
Well, I agree. That's the number one. I think that's the number one thing. I think of all the things in his favour, I think the availability is the number one. What do you think, Rosie?
Absolutely, I thought we kind of glossed over it when we first started talking about it in this pod. But I would say, like projections, Salah's only, I guess, his final season at Roma, but Salah's only posted these numbers while he's been with us. So Dan needs to add in the factor of how much players improve when they get to this current Liverpool context.
Sure.
It's so important.
Yeah, I think it is, but this is why I think we can. What we should do is we have the data, we have the performance. We can look back and we can see what Mo did for a good team in a good league at age 23 and 24, and we can look at what other players are doing around Europe in other good leagues and what they're doing today. And we already signed a statistical equivalent of Salah, albeit on a smaller sample, in January in Luis Diaz. And there are other players out there right now who are gettable and are putting up even better numbers than Salah was doing at Roma. So my point is going to be that saying if Salah was doing this at Roma, then you put him, he's already racking up elite numbers, then you put him into our team with better players, with a better manager, in a better system, then these players will just all go supernova. Because if you look at what the three players we've got, the front three now, Jota, Salah and Mane, all of those players have improved their goal scoring, have improved their non-penalty XG, their goals per 90 minutes, and their shots by 40% on their pre-Liverpool levels, just by joining our team and joining our club and playing for Klopp and being surrounded by better players. So we could sign a good Premier League player like Diogo Jota, and see him score. Just say his shots are going to go up by 40%. But you're going to get a play because you're going to get so many more chances to score in our team, and so many more chances to shoot, and so many more chances to create for other players. So that's what I would say is that there are players that we can find, and we could sign who are gettable, who could project to be at an elite level, a Salah levels of performance.
No, I think I'm not sure that's true, but if we could get someone to project and start performing at 90 to 95% Salah, then that's as acceptable as not overpaying 70 to 80% because on the contract. So it's a balancing act, and it would be horrendous. But it's what you think is the most important for the club, not what's most important for Salah. If you think there's someone out there that could project 90% of what Salah contributes, then that might be worth it if you're paying him 150 grand, as opposed to paying someone 400 grand who's just doing 10% better than that. That's how these people work these things out.
Yeah.
I'm not saying... As fans, we don't want to see that. We don't want the greatest player in our history, possibly. We don't want to see him leave. We don't want to say he's not worth X amount of money. But if you think as a club you can sign somebody who could perform to 90 to 95% of his level, then you would do that. Yeah,
you've got to be confident, Si, I think, that you could sign players who are going to project to levels, close to what Salah. Now, whether they're going to get to 100% or 105% or 102% of what Salah does, or in 95 or whatever, that's up for debate because you don't know how they're going to develop into the age 26 to 30 compared to, say, Mo, do you? That's the big unknown.
No.
Yeah. But you can make these projections age 23, 24, 25 about these star players, and they can come in and be absolutely brilliant for us, right? And that's the I guess that's the trade-off, isn't it? Where do you stand on all that side of the analytics debate?
Can I just add one significant thing here, because we're talking analytics and money, right?
Yeah.
So if we only take a snapshot of current earnings, the top 30 attackers in the world, because I know you keep replacing players and with how much, whatever you're going to do, I don't know. Right, the top 30 players in the world, and if you look at how much they currently get paid per actual assist, Mo Salah is significantly the best value for money in the world. Yeah. So I'll just get a percentage of this. It's good radio.
But I know what you're saying, though. Absolutely.
27% better value than the next best value attacker in the world. 27% better.
And you'll probably still be top, even if you factored in his, like Gags was saying, the Forbes survey with his image rights paid, and he'd probably still be top then.
How much are we saying how much were you willing to give him?
Well, the report was 325, 350, that kind of money, wasn't it?
I saw 300 today, but I don't know what you thought it was.
I thought the Athletic would say 325, but
if we give him 325, he becomes the second highest value in the league, in the world. The second best value.
And who's ahead of him?
Who plays in a tap-in league?
Yeah, it'll be more, man, because they're not stupid. It'll be more than that because Rami's not stupid. And by the way, he's not his agent, he's his lawyer. But at the end of the day, he does all the work for him. So he advises him. But Mo's not dumb either. Mo knows his value. And if Liverpool can't afford that value, then Mo must leave. That's how it is.
I agree with you. But my point is, he's offered... So for 3 years, he's been on this salary. And he's been the best value forward in the world for this salary.
Yeah, we've made money.
We've made a ton off him. Is my point. We can complain all we like, but he is.
But he's still had his image rights. He's still the third highest paid footballer overall once you factor everything.
Yeah, maybe, but that's his money. That's not yours. It's not Liverpool's. Yeah. He doesn't get. He didn't. They don't
win-win then. What you're saying is it's win-win. It's win for Liverpool and it's win for Mo. Because we've got good value out of him.
But the fact that they've made this much in terms of value from his services, that it reduces their leverage.
Agreed.
Yeah, it does. It does.
But I think we've covered all this, though. I think we need to talk about possible replacements. We're saying if we can get someone in for 90-95% of what Salah.
Who's out there?
I'll tell you, the number one guy, right, who's available is Christopher Nkunku at Leipzig. Right now, his numbers are significantly better than Salah at Roma. Significantly, 15% higher, and which is incredible.
Can I just preface this by, in the last 5 years, the goals per game have gone up from 2.1 to 2.7.
Yeah. So
in Serie A, so they've gone up 25%.
Yeah, and so he plays for Leipzig. He's attainable. He's not already at City. He's not already at PSG, so he's attainable, right? Now, and Nkunku is one of those rare ones like Salah, who he's got a good ratio between his scoring side and his creative side as well. So, I mean, that would be, for example, a player who's age 23 that you could look at and thinking that guy there, he could go supernova playing in the Liverpool system.
How much would he cost?
What, 50, 60, 70? I don't know.
How much would we? So that's the thing. How much would he cost? How much would we have to pay him?
Yeah. So
absolutely agree. This is all what these guys are paid to do. Another one. Look, on the Understat, I've put it on that PDF. Serge Gnabry is the only other one that comes close in terms of performance now.
Yeah.
If you have a look at their Understat radars,
Transfer Market has got Nkunku as 60 million current value. We need this is where we need Dave Hendrick. You see.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about Nkunku, he tell you the ins and outs and his
I
inside leg
been-
measurement.
shots
I
for
can't deny I've got a bit of
2.3,
mistrust of
shots per
Bundesliga.
90, 2.3. His shots per 90, 2.3 down. His XG per 90 is 0.36. So it's quite significantly lower in terms of the goal threat, but it's slightly higher in terms of the creation. Whereas Serge Gnabry is virtually, apart from the XG per 90 and the goals per 90, is virtually the same as Salah.
But he plays for Bayern.
But he plays for Bayern, yeah, of course.
And Serge Gnabry, over the last 3 seasons, has got, I think, on my graph, I saw it earlier. I think it's low 20s, maybe 23 big goals or big goals created fewer than Mo. He's Mahrez.
And that's had injuries as well.
Yeah. So he doesn't play as much, and he is Mahrez. He is the guy that gets you the 3rd, 4th, and 5th goal.
Just on the Bundesliga tax thing, because I know there's some chat in the live show chat about this as well. All these things can be weighted analytically. You can weight the relative performance of one league to another, to the strongest league, and there's a number of studies, and we went into this in depth on the Diaz pod because we had to do this exact same thing with the Portuguese Premier League. And there's a Serie A tax as well, but the Serie A league is not as strong as the Premier League.
No,
and the Bundesliga.
You got to factor in Bundesliga isn't Bayern Munich.
Yeah, and he plays for a team which isn't Bayern. So
that's what I'm saying. I'm fine with that. I'm way happier Bayern in an attack for Bayern.
Yeah. So
because I would score 15 a season for Bayern Munich.
I remember the Thomas Muller slander from the other week when we were talking about his assists, shinning one to Lewandowski.
Because Bayern mid-game will just buy the other team's goalie.
It's not a million miles away, is it? But point is that all these things it can be analytically weighted between the difference between leagues and how to evaluate how a player does in one league against another. That is getting stronger all the time, and you can bet your bottom dollar that LFC do it better than anybody else. But they're not going to reveal that because it's going to be the secret sauce that they do. Anyway, Gags.
Yes. We're not. Look. Point is.
Did we cover everything you wanted to cover?
I think so, and more. And I think the point is they should pay his worth and keep him for another 4 years, because at the end of the day, we're going to continue to win things with this guy in the squad. And if he's there and he keeps being available like he is, and he's not going to the World Cup this winter, he's going to be lethal in 2023. Absolutely lethal with a bit of rest.
Could I ask you a question, Gags? Because you haven't done much apart from the business stuff, but you are a businessman after all.
You haven't done much, mate. That's your UP for 2021-22.
Right. You asked the question before the agenda. Why is it taking so long? And I say, from the face of it, the most obvious answer to that is that they've already decided he's not going to renew. He's not going to re-sign, right? Now, let's just say that's the case. Say Salah and his agent are not going to re-sign with LFC under any circumstances, and they're just not going to make it public. What do you think then becomes most likely? Do you think we either let his contract run down, or do you think we sell him with a year left?
I think it's going to be down to Mo Salah again. I think if he loves playing under Klopp and he loves Liverpool, he'll probably end up playing for one more year and say, I don't want to go anywhere. But if money is the thing that's going to make him move, and let's be honest, right? Mo's not stupid. Why would he go to PSG and win a French league? He's not going to win a Champions League there. Let's be honest. It's not going to happen. So why would you move to get a
Newcastle,
French league?
mate? He's going to Newcastle.
Nah, no chance. I don't think that happens. I just don't think
feels
that
I think it's our biggest leverage. The options.
Yeah, the leverage is our option. But then again, it's going to be Madrid for me.
But
that
Madrid are
comes up.
signing. Madrid are still relatively skint, and they've just signed Mbappe, haven't they? Or haven't they not
No,
signed him yet?
no, they've not signed him yet. So that's even the bigger worry, because what's happening with Mbappe? Is Mbappe waiting for Mo to move? I don't know. But at the end of the day, you're kind of in this situation where Mbappe would have gone by now, surely, because he's free to sign with Madrid. What's going on there? But the point is, he knows this is the best place for him. All the words out of the Salah camp are, I want to stay at Liverpool. They know what they need to do, right? It's not what they know what I want. They know what they need to do. Everything from Klopp has been, there has been no rejection.
Yeah.
There has been no acceptance, but there's been no rejection. What does that tell you? That's positive. That's very positive from Klopp. That's not actually doing anything wrong. He's saying everything's just going to take time. Just be patient. So from my point, we could be just all arguing about nothing. Yeah, we'll be worried. Of course, we're worried because it's getting late in the day. But we could all be arguing about
most
nothing.
social game this season has been amazing. It's so businesslike. He's just focused on winning. He just wants to win. Everything he puts out is brilliant.
Everything is pro Liverpool. Everything is pro winning. Everything is exactly what fans want to see, want to hear, want to read. Now, it doesn't sound like to me that it's a man that wants to leave. It's just a man that knows his value. That's all.
Well,
and I think
with a Scouse accent.
Absolutely, his kids are going to Scouse accent. I don't think he wants to leave, and that's going to be a big part of it. So whatever happens this summer, it's going to be interesting, because I think that now it's going to go to the summer. So I don't think it's worth messing up the last 2 months of this season in a saga. We should just park it. Just
absolutely. The last thing we can do is have the Salah's agent stirring the pot in the last 2 months of the season while we're going for the quad. That's the worst thing that could happen.
Yeah,
Jesus. More importantly, have you seen the video of the penalty miss?
It's awful. It's awful. It's absolutely disgusting.
Oh my God!
Yeah, I will put it in the chat, guys, if you want to see it. But it is horrendous as to what has happened. It's in the AI live show chat now, guys. If you press play on that and just watch that, look at the lasers. That was the whole game.
Absolutely disgusting.
That's the whole game, mate. They did that the whole game on every Egypt player. The whole game.
Brutal.
It is brutal. Anyway, that is for another day and another podcast.
So, do you think, Gags, as you are the most successful businessman, the only successful businessman in this panel, right?
Well, Si's a businessman.
Yeah, Si.
Do you think that the most likely scenario is that he renews but keeps his image rights?
Yes, 100%. I think that's the only way forward. I don't think actually Liverpool can afford Mo Salah at this point in time. I think it's close to what Mbappe wants, $1 million a week in terms of added all combined. I just don't see how, well, probably not that much. It's probably about 600, 700,000. I just can't see how Liverpool can afford it. That's just realistic, right? I mean, I'm just being realistic in terms of what his wage is and what his image rights are worth, because you've got to pay what they're worth. And being a realist, look, Liverpool can't afford him if that's the deal and if that's what they want. But they can afford him if they do. If they say keep your image rights, son, they can completely afford him. Absolutely, definitely, 100%.
And if Rosie says it's all about Nike, then Nike we can do some back channel deal for Nike to pay Salah through the club.
Yeah.
Oh,
why not?
Anyway,
if Mo can wangle it somehow that he's willing to do that with Nike for Liverpool kits only, great.
Yep.
Great. Absolutely. That's why it's complicated, I think, guys. There's going to be so much going on. So
I mean, they can't be. I mean, this must be so much more difficult than any other contract we've done before as a club because of all this. Must be. Yeah. We don't know the ins and outs, but this must be the most difficult thing the club's done.
No, it's the hardest player contract Liverpool FC would have ever done, in my opinion. The hardest, and you know what? It's Mo Salah, so it's understandable. Playing everything that you guys have said, Sai said, in terms of numbers, the saga is going to happen because the player is that good. So it's not something that we shouldn't expect. Things aren't easy, man. You don't get things easy in life. You can't get the best players easy. And Mo Salah is the world's best. So we're going to have to fight for it.
My final point, and I don't know if they take this into consideration, but I think they should, because lots of people say it about Milner. The example that he sets as a human being, the charity that he's given in his own country, the fact that he does shoot, he's built a pitch in Rome to practice his shooting when he was there. He does meditation and visualization every day. He looks at the next game and sees which players he's up against and visualizes that before the game. His nutrition's off the scale. He's just the perfect example to any other player in that team. He gets to training first and leaves last. All these things. He's as good. He talks, and there's a GQ article, I think you should all Google it. He talks about how nothing's about the money. He doesn't want to go back and play games at home. He wants to spend time with his kids. He wants to work. He wants to do his. When he was called at Chelsea, they said he's too weak for the Premier League. He started doing more weights because he wasn't playing. Look at his physique now. He reads self-help books about improving as a human. He's the absolute perfect example of what you want as a footballer. And we should take that into consideration if we, people say James Milner is the fittest player. Let's give him another extension on his deal. If it means another 50, 75 grand a week for more to keep him for this kind of example that he's going to set to others.
See, that there is the problem. People are willing to give £150,000 a week to James Milner for another year, but will not add that to Mo Salah's wages, or not be willing for Mo Salah to have that added onto his wages. That there is the massive problem.
For off-field character, that's what Milner's there for. Off-field.
We're going to go through the whole pod without bringing in this kind of thing. I'm a bit disappointed
No,
we have to go to it right at
no,
the end.
it's not disappointing, but
because
this is the narrative that people set outside, right?
Some gags, some people say that.
Yeah. Of course they do. They do. There is a narrative that's set, and it'll be the media most, Darth, and anyone. That's the worst thing.
Yeah, but
that's why this exists. That's why Anfield Index exists. Because we call out the fucking nonsense. So that's the comparison that people need to wake up to. If you're willing to do that, but you're not willing to do this, hopefully someone listening was willing to do one, but not the other, and now is thinking, oh shit, that makes a lot of sense. Hopefully. Because it's stupid. It's completely stupid, dude.
I just think we've done all the analytics, and it was just nice to bring in some of the, someone to look up to, someone to let's look at his methods. Look how his methods have improved as he's changed as a player.
Yeah, but my point was we don't need to go into the kind of little England and nonsense that we know exists in this country. Where we just because we thought it was a good pod until then.
None of that interests me.
We'll never fix that, Gags. None of us. Rundish will never fix it either.
No,
not even if he engages with every single person their app replies.
No, but we can
slagging them.
But it's our job to educate, and if we forget to do that, then we're failing, unfortunately. And we can't fail. The best thing we can do is educate, and the more we educate, and the more we point it out, the more people may start to change their views. And if they don't, then that's just ignorance, and that's fine.
I think from a UP perspective, right? We've got one equation. The only equation that counts, right? The value that he produces on pitch, so not from a monetary perspective, can that be replaced by the monetary value that Liverpool are willing to spend on his contract extension that he isn't willing to take? So if they're supposedly offering what the equivalent of a 75 million pound contract, and he wants a 100 million pound contract, can we replace Mo Salah's value on the pitch, output on the pitch, with 75 million? I think it's possible. I think the chances of that 25 million is worth, in my opinion, it's worth the guarantee. And it's a 25 million risk.
I agree.
Nice. Yep.
I agree.
Yep, that's the best place, I think, to end it. It's time to go. But I hope you enjoyed the show. And even if the rant at the end wasn't stats, I hope you enjoyed it anyway, even though Darth didn't.
It's just the UK, Gags.
Brexit. Anyway,
Brexit!
we shall call it a night there. Thank you so much for doing this in International Week. You didn't need to, but you have provided some excellent content for the AI Pro subscribers and listeners themselves. So thank you, Darth, Rhodesy, and Sai. As always, they'll be back next week, the boys with Phil in tow, for the Watford. I haven't looked at the way you've scheduled it, actually, Darth, this time round. Is it after Benfica or is it before?
Yeah, we're doing. It's going to be. I think it's a Friday night pod, isn't it?
Wow.
It's Benfica on a Wednesday.
No, it's a Tuesday.
Oh, it's going to be a Thursday night pod. Thursday night.
Okay, great.
Thursday night pod. Yeah, Watford and Benfica. Yeah,
Watford and Benfica. So they'll be back next Thursday. There'll be plenty of content coming in between. Then obviously we've got all the post-match Watford and the previews coming up for Benfica as well this week. So I hope you've enjoyed the content. Quite a few old schools out there. Buy, keep, sell stuff. A bit of a preview to the transfer window committee stuff with some some scouting from Dave for some lists ready for the summer. So yeah, there's quite a lot of content. Go and listen to it. We'll be back very soon. Thank you very much. Up the Reds!
We hope you enjoyed listening to this Anfield Index show. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel so future podcasts find their way to your device automatically. There's nothing quite like fan engagement, and we'd love to know what you think of anything discussed on this show. The best way to get in touch is over on our free Discord community, where both podcasters and listeners debate the hottest LFC topics 24/7. Sign up free now at AnfieldIndex.com/Discord. You won't regret it. You can also follow us on Twitter at Anfield Index and find us on Facebook by searching for Anfield Index. Oh, and before you go, we'd love it if you could leave us a 5-star review on your favourite podcast app. It only takes a couple of seconds, and it means the world to the people who create these free shows.